going to make a video about 4chan making blatant lies about Nintendo Switch 2 again, but I have a bigger fist to fry. The Walt Disney Company and Marvel Studios. Yes, so we talked about Fantastic Four throughout the week, talking about how is Fantastic Four going to do throughout the week, throughout the rest of its lifespan in the theaters. But it seems that I was vindicated again about this movie. Yep, I was the only one that was saying this movie is gonna flop, this movie is gonna underperform. Probably not flop, but underperform massively at the box office to Marvel's projections. So we have the numbers here, and we have the deadline article as well here. And yeah, here we go. Fantastic Four is not even gonna pass 200 million in its second week. Yeah, not even $200 million as well, okay? Freaky Friday, Weapons Double Bills happen. Yeah, those movies are gonna make a lot of money, okay? But Fantastic Four isn't, well, yeah. Freaky Friday was actually amongst the most anticipated movies as well. But Bad Guys 2, I've heard nothing but good things about the Bad Guys 2. But again, it's just so sad this movie's not doing too well. I think, I think it should be doing better, okay? Given the views it's getting on YouTube, anything related to the Bad Guys 2, but nope, no one cares. Still doing better than Fantastic Four, by the way, but if you want to see a Bad Guys free, well, better go watch the movie in theaters. Okay, it's that simple. It is doing very similar to the first movie as well. It will probably do very similarly globally to the first movie globally as well. But yeah, overall, yeah. But it seems that the Bad Guys is doing pretty well. Naked Gun. I think most of the general audience are people who seen it, and most. I wonder how many people who seen Bad Guys because they saw the first one. But most people say the movie's good. So yeah, I like the first movie. It was pretty funny. It's DreamWorks at their best. Making fun, entertaining movies. Something that Disney never does. So yeah. But it seems that Fantastic Four isn't doing too well. And now the rest of the video will be about wah 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 wah. Yeah. And this movie actually underperformed on its first week because a lot of people were saying this movie's gonna have massive numbers. Okay. But the pre-sales were saying no, it was not gonna have massive, $200 million opening like Deadpool and Wolverine did and $400 million globally. But it seems that Disney just continues to have this massive downfall when it comes to the movies. 80% drop. Other ones have an 80% drop. Black Widow, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, The Marvels, and most Marvel movies. Okay, we can compare this to Jurassic World Rebirth, and Superman, which I think are both way better movies, by the way, than anything made by Disney. But I'm not the big mouse that makes city movies that people go on to watch. Okay, as well. But it seems that this movie is massively underperforming compared to its competition. Okay, compared to its competitors, which I believe is two big competitors. Fantastic Four, it's Jurassic World Dominion. No, Jurassic World Rebirth, not Dominion. Dominion was one before. And Superman. Okay, Jurassic World Rebirth, which was also considered underperformance, but it had, decent legs. And Superman, which it did pretty well for, franchise Superman, a character that historically never really performed too well at the box office. Okay, and it's not doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 numbers, okay? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 had a massive second weekend hold, okay? Fantastic Four will be lucky if it even makes 40 million, okay? As well, okay? As well. It'll be lucky if it makes 40 million at the box office, okay? No, in its second weekend, okay? I'm being serious about this. It'll be lucky if it makes 40 million. Okay, we have a comparison between Superman and Fantastic Four. So day 8 on Superman. Superman is 5 million ahead of Fantastic Four. Okay, It is 5 million, and Superman was also labeled as a woke pile of garbage too. Okay, that Superman was about the immigrant experience. How Superman is about, how Superman's against the orange man. Okay, guess what? More people would rather go see Superman still than see any MCU movie. Okay, MCU is quickly becoming like Star Wars at this point. Okay, an IP that just doesn't sell. Okay, yes, you can still have these big openings, but the rigs are just not there. The rigs for this movie are not there. And of course, this movie's going to be screwed next week because guess what? Disney's going to be releasing a sequel to a very popular movie, and Weapons, a very anticipated horror movie for many people, is also coming out. They also have to add in Jurassic World Rebirth as well. See how it's comparing on its 8th day to Jurassic World Rebirth. Okay, as well. Okay, so Jurassic World Rebirth was a movie that actually technically opened lower than Fantastic Four. Okay, but it had that extra days. Jurassic World Rebirth currently is at 11.5 million. So this movie is performing on par in terms of domestic gross to Jurassic World Rebirth. But Jurassic World Rebirth had a lower opening by around 20 million compared to Fantastic Four: The First Steps on its free day. Okay, as well. Okay, so it had a massive drop. Jurassic World Rebirth had a 11 million, which is actually pretty average for a movie that opens to 90 million at its first weekend. So let's look at Jurassic World Rebirth's second weekend to see how it performed. To see how Jurassic World Rebirth performed our second weekend. Okay. Anytime now, numbers. Anytime. Okay. And it ended up making 40 million with a 56% drop. But Fantastic Four is having a way higher drop. 66% drop. Okay. Compared to Jurassic World Dominion, which dropped average, but it kept having decent holds afterwards. And I don't think Fantastic Four have these holds like Jurassic World Dominion did. Jurassic World Rebirth did. Okay, I don't think it's gonna have these holds like Jurassic World Rebirth did. Okay, it's not gonna make the same amount of money this movie's gonna make domestically. Okay, Fantastic Four is gonna perform like every Marvel movie has performed besides Deadpool and Wolverine throughout the past 3 years. Okay, even Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was supposed to make $1 billion, did not make $1 billion. The Marvels, sequel to $1 billion grossing movie, no one go see it. Okay, and they have this movie performing way behind. Okay, at the end of the day, the movie is gonna probably end up making around $270 million domestically, which yes, it's a pretty big number, but it's an underperformance compared to its competition, compared to Superman, which will likely end up making around $350 million. Jurassic World Rebirth will likely end up making around $330 million. And The First Steps will likely end up making around $280 million at the very end of the day as well. It's just quite embarrassing. This is a movie that is a prelude to one of Marvel's biggest movies of the decade. Okay, which is Avengers Doomsday. But no one cares. It is not performed like Captain Marvel and Black Panther, which are supposed to be preludes to the massive Avengers movies as well. Okay, it's performing like Captain Marvel and Black Panther, but nope, it is performing like the second Guardians in the Galaxy, which is not too good because guess what? That this movie should be making way more money. Okay, and given the fact that Marvel movies are now underperforming so much internationally, this movie's gonna probably make around $560 million globally as well. Okay, or even lower, which means this movie would lose money for Disney. Which I don't think Disney wants that, obviously, but that is still a possibility. Disney still loses money on this movie, like Quantumania. Okay, because remember, Quantumania also had this massive opening and it dropped 80% at the box office. 73% at the box office, and Fantastic Four is not too far behind Ant-Man and the Wasp's Quantumania in terms of drops. Okay, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, however, was doing far worse than this movie. By the way, it was at $143 million. But if we compare this to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, it was performing like Quantumania. Okay, as well as I think it's gonna perform a bit better than Quantumania. It also had a bigger opening than Quantumania, as well. That's another thing, but Quantumania had a massive drop off as well, like 74% or something like that. Fantastic Four will likely could drop like Quantumania did. And the thing is, Quantumania didn't really have much competition either. Okay, and it did this poorly. And if one of the even worse is Brave New World, which only made like $200 million. We can add that movie into the comparison as well. Okay, another movie that had a massive drop off despite its so-called good opening. Okay, as well. But Brave New World also had a massive drop off at the box office as well. Okay, Fantastic Four, if it performs like these movies, it'll end up making around $250 million domestically. If it does worse internationally than it does domestically, then the movie is gonna lose money for Disney. Okay, the Fantastic Four might become Disney's biggest embarrassment since Snow White. Goodbye.